So the question today is it leads or is it your sales professionals? Which is the challenge? So I hear this all the time. And I will tell you that what we found most often is the sales professional. It's not the leads. So you've hired a marketing company to come in and provide leads for you. So let's identify what leads are. So what I tell sales professionals all the time is, we've got a contact list of 2,000 names. So you can call it yourself and qualify the pain point around the solution that we're promoting and see how many folks need a call or meeting and schedule it that way. Or I can do an email campaign and get them to uncloak themselves and watch their behavior and qualify themselves in certain lead categories. And then you can call behind it that way. Which would you prefer? So when you think about it, there's no such thing as a guaranteed lead where someone responds to something and it's a guarantee that they're going to take a meeting, right? But you pick which way you want to go. Now, the challenge is the sales reps you have at your company today that you're using to go after these leads is where the problem is or where the challenge is. So what type of sales professional do you have? Do you have a prospecting / hunter-based sales professional, or do you have a sort of farmer-based sales professional? You need both. And you're looking for someone who can do both jobs, but you may not have them. And that's what you've got to look at. So let's talk about what this prospecting, hunting type sales professional should look like. So one of the things is we do when we have these folks is we come up with a lead management approach. And that drives us to creating what we call a marketing quota. And our marketing quota is fed by something we have a calculator we use where we take the average GP per sale and we reverse engineer the quota that the sales professional needs to hit each year. So let's say it was, for simplicity, $500,000 in GP. And our average GP sale was $5,000. These are just average numbers. Well, how many meetings and proposals do you have to do to hit that number? Now, once we establish the meeting number, then we go back and say, do you have enough prospects to hit those numbers? Now, our numbers around prospects is a 10-to-1 hit ratio from leads that you have to setting them to meetings. And that's usually, I apologize, that's probably more like 30%. What I mean by that is, if I give you 50 leads, you should get 30% of them into a meeting. It's really that simple. And maybe a little bit higher if you have the skill. But the point I'm making is, does the sales rep at your company have the ability to do that, right? So let me give you sort of how we sort out the leads. We break them down into 4 categories. Category 1 is a form submission. That one's easy. You did a campaign, person hit a form submission. Now, what's key about form submission management is you need to hit that person within a minute of the form submission if you can. Response time is everything there. It says to them that you're sensitive to their needs and that you want their business. Second one is a hot lead. Now, this is a person we did a campaign to. They went out, did 5, 7, 8, 10 types of things. They downloaded the white paper. They watched the video. They went to your LinkedIn profile. They went to your website. They're all over the landing page. And you can watch that behavior with your sales and marketing software that you have. And that way they bubble up into the lead scoring system. You go, this is a hot lead. So how I call it, the voicemail I leave for it, the secondary email I send them is a skill in and of itself. Third one is a warm lead. I did a couple things. I opened the lead. I maybe watched the video, but I didn't jump around that much. I'm not hot, but I'm not cold. So the voicemail message I leave for you, the email I send you next, the follow-up touches after that is also a skill. Now, my favorite one is the cold lead, which is what we get a lot of. So if I do a 3,000 email campaign with a reasonable open rate, I'm going to get a lot of folks who software they're using clicked on the email. They didn't really click on it, or they did it by accident. They're not interested at all. But I'm still going to nurture them and qualify them as well, not with the same level of aggressiveness of the other 3, but I'm still going to stay engaged with those folks and qualify them based on my follow-up approach. So the nurturing technique that I use for doing that is very, very, very important. So the skill of your sales professional to do this properly is important. 100 years ago, I was a commodities broker. And I never forget what my manager said. He said, Gary, if you're going to be successful here, you have to make 400 calls a day, not 399. And I will never forget this 80-year-old grandmother who's a school teacher cursed me out on the phone repeatedly for calling her. And I remember thinking, okay, is this woman trying to question my ability or my willingness to keep making calls? Because it made me feel bad after some of the language that she used. And being an old lady didn't make it any better. But I said to myself, I've got a call volume I've got to hit. The mindset, the temperament it takes to make that type of call or those types of calls is important. Do you have that kind of a rep at your company? And if they're not hunters and prospecting machines and get that, you have the wrong people. Now, here's why that's important. Your sales projections for next year are based around those numbers of meetings, going to proposals, and engaging business. So if you don't have the right person doing that, your numbers aren't going to hold up. So you say, all right, Gary, they can't do it. What do I do now? Well, you get a BDR rep is one way to go. You can train them on how to do it. If they have the temperament for it, but don't know how to do it, then you teach them how to do it. But it's not the marketing company's responsibility to do that. Their job is to create creative marketing so that when someone clicks on it and looks at it, gets their curiosity going, so they think, hey, this is a company I might want to talk to. So I jump around, I go to your LinkedIn, I go to the other pages. I'm looking at your company as someone who might be able to help me. Then the sales professional engages them and gives them a reason to take a meeting. That's how this is supposed to work. Now, if your sales rep can't do that and they're not hunters, do you need to train them to do it or find someone that can? Either way, if you don't solve it, your projections next year won't hold up. I hope this was helpful. Again, Gary Beacham, SPC International. Thank you very much.